Hi, my name is Jonathan Florence, and I'm doing my YouTube video reflection for citizen leadership. So, the first question here to be answered is I'm going to go with option two on prepare a eulogy and talk about how I would describe myself. So, when I wrote my eulogy, I said, I am foremost understanding. I try to understand the people that I love and those that I don't. I also try to understand the mistakes that I've made and learn how I can grow from them. I think that's a really, really important way to live your life. Second, I think that I'm a good listener. I've been told by a couple of people, and it's something that I strive for in my life, to be a pretty level person and a good place for people who are struggling. I want to be a good place for them to go to and to be able to listen and help them in their time of need, I guess, and just be a resource for people that just need somebody to listen to. No, to listen to them. There we go. I said third, I'm someone that loves to discover new things, whether that's trying new foods, or going down an alley I've never been down before, or taking a new way home. I always really enjoy trying new things, even if it works out for the worst. You know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but I think that knowing is better than not knowing and just imagining, man, I wonder what would happen if I took that way home. And I think I said lastly, I am self-deprecating, which is not a positive trait, but I think it is one that's true. I think that I assess myself pretty fairly, but in doing that, oftentimes I focus on what I've done wrong or what could be improved instead of actually appreciating the benefits of the thing that I have achieved or the work that I've done. I'm not at school at the moment, so I chose to ask my girlfriend what she thought of it, and she agreed for the most part that, oh well, entirely, that that it was accurate to what she thinks of me as well. She would have included some other things, but she said that it is for the most part accurate, and she wishes that I wouldn't be quite as self-deprecating. So now we can move on to the second prompt, the value sort. With that one, my top four values were broad interests, hard work and commitment, curiosity, and faith. And I think with those, hard work and commitment is really important. I think if you didn't value that, it would be hard to be a good leader and exemplify what it looks like to do a good job. Broad interests, I think, is important because if you have a really narrow scope of understanding, then it's going to be tough to work the most efficiently and the most well that you can. Curiosity is good for the same reason. I think that if you can look at new ways to do things, that's always a positive thing. And then faith, I think as a Christian, I have faith in God, and that dictates some of my decisions, but as well, faith in your fellow workers and your colleagues is very important as well. Next, we've got the Clifton strengths from the other inventory. And I got restorative as my number one, individualization as number two, harmony, includer, and positivity as the last two. So I think that restorative is interesting. I'm not quite sure how I incorporate that. I think, like I was saying earlier, being a good listener and making sure that everyone feels heard and understood, and nobody gets too intense or there's not too much conflict. I think a certain amount of conflict is healthy and good, but understanding that everybody is an individual and we each have values and goals that we're working towards, and understanding how those can all work together towards a common goal. Positivity was a little surprising. I don't usually think of myself as a positive person, but I think that for the sake of a group, I usually try to have a positive outlook on how we can get things done. The last two were the congruence rubric. I think for myself, working on acting congruent could be a big thing for me. I think that writing out my values and maybe some definitions for myself and how I would expect other people to act out those values could be helpful. And then seeing if I can do those things or if there's space for me to do those things in my life. And then 3 to 5 areas of growth. I've got a little bit of time here left. Accepting and incorporating new ideas is tough for me. Finishing what I start and communicating in groups are difficult. I think oftentimes I don't speak up for myself, and so that's pretty tough. But I think I can start doing a better job of that by just being more mindful, being more present, and trying to understand and track the conversation a little bit better and interject where I can. And then finishing what I start. I think that, like anything, practice is the way that you get better. So I think maybe starting by doing some small writing assignments or something like that for myself. Oftentimes it's self-set goals that are difficult to follow through on. So I think that starting with some small writing assignments or something like that could be good practice. And then lastly, accepting and incorporating new ideas. I think just incorporating is difficult for me because oftentimes I get set in a pattern, and I think just being mindful of that as well and taking time to examine myself and my practices is going to be important. Thank you.